Kia ora tātou. Crazy Rua here. Yeah, I just thought, okay, I better get this one done. This is part two from the first part of the introduction. This is about the first session of the workshop, Anatomy Gifts, Anatomy Ascension. And so I couldn't figure out how to put the PowerPoint on, due because if I was doing it in a meeting like Zoom or Skype, I was able to connect this on and do it live. So I'm just going to go with this, and hopefully I can attach the PowerPoint to the YouTube. If not, next week, once everyone jumps on board, I'll bring this up as a brief, just to be able to for everyone to share their kōrero or share their experience. Okay, so here we go. Workshop at Anatomy Gifts, Anatomy Ascension, to deliver the modalities that live in the vessels of the anatomy. This seeks understanding on how our spiritual gifts, scroll gifts, contracted gifts, ascended gifts, and many other ways of receiving gifts finds its place with self. So self is higher self. So let's begin. Okay, so we're going to have a look. So the first course, so when we look at the anatomy, we also look at the energies of the anatomy too. So just in this first session, decided to start from the feet. Everyone starts from the crown. No, crazy, we're going to start from the feet. Okay, so the first core energy or first anatomy, important anatomy, is the feet, the ankles, and the calves. Okay, so important area to discuss. This is the most valuable position of the body, as these carry the weight, the height, and motions, all that the anatomy or your body holds, and some more. Okay, this is known to be the grounding or foundation of your being. The energies that are obtained in the roots reaction, the direct linkage to Mother Earth, which we know as Papa Tuanuku, as below the feet is the university of your whole physical function. In Māori terms, it is known as the Kawa-a-Haumie, the Coven of Pulse. So Haumie is known as a god of the underground, the under-earth food resources, like the spuds, the kumara, the taro, all those kind of things. Onions, and so he is known as the god for that. Or we say the kaitiaki. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to go back. So I'm just going off my PowerPoint, but then I'm going to add to it. Okay, feet, ankles, calves. Relates to massaging, energy channeling, energy strikes, energy cleansing, penetration, motions, signals, and release. Okay, let's... Oh yeah, I don't need to go back. Okay, so when we talk about the feet actually is the whole human physique. Holds everything, has everything all in just your feet. That's why a lot of people always say take care of your feet. You take care of your feet, you take care of your whole being. And so when we look at, I'm not going to go into detail where all the symptoms are, because mostly all those that do Reiki and all those that do massaging or miri will know the significance of the feet. So just to plot along, the energies and the physicality of your feet, the muscle and the nerves that are created in your feet, they have direct links to all your parts and organs. Okay, and so we look at the big toe, that's actually the head, the mind, and so that's also part of the skull. And so right across the ridge of the other toes, those are all the senses. And it connects to all those areas up here. And so a lot of people, so mostly a lot of massages or miri or Reiki healers they go for the feet because it's the lateral part. It's to relax the body. Sometimes a person can be very much a lot of tension, a lot of stress, depression, and all that that's created to slow the body up, where pains are overbearing. And this is where we go for the feet to actually relax the body. Then we'll be able to engage on the body. So in saying that, it's about the muscle tension, and the bone. And so when I say the muscle tension, the feet helps us to be able to identify where the issue is and be able to go into where that muscle is and resolve. Right, I'm back. Okay, so now we'll go into this. Okay, so when you're, okay, as I've explained, there's a lot of areas on soles of the feet that has a lot of links, physical links to your whole body, okay, to your whole physique. And so, and therefore, they hold the amount of your whole body. So the whole weight, it's really very heavy, as we all know. But it's also an area of acknowledgement. And so when we're doing a lot of things with the feet, we actually, before even putting our hands on the person, we study the feet. And so for us here, culturally, we actually have a look, and the hill is represented as the mountain or the hill, the sacred hill, and from there is the spring. And so on the side of the hill, there's that underlay that shows the shape of the hill that is known to us as the channel, the water channel within the springs. So underneath, inside the hills or ranges are like hoses of water that's continuous, crystal-like water. So yes, okay, so crystal-like water that keeps our spring water pure and fresh. And so therefore there's the hill, and underneath we call it the waterfall. And so when we call it the waterfall, and as you're coming down towards the middle, okay, those are all the offshoots of the streams and creeks that is created from there. Now, just within all that, as you come up towards the big toe, so I'm using my hand as for an example, so coming up to the big toe, we say that is the river entering into the sea, into the ocean. And so we call it the waharua, or the wahapu, or the entrance, or the exit. And so that's the flow. So when we're taking things out through the feet, we take it out through there, so it's gone. And so these other shoots, these other areas, they're called pockets. And so those sit in a different area. And so when we say in a different area, it's about the land. And so it's the swamp, the pond, the lakes. And so those are the other areas. And so what these in detail, so over here when we're removing stuff, over here is when we're receiving stuff to take the replacement of what's been removed. And so that's the whole functions of how the muscle within the feet works. Okay, so when we talk about that, now when I say crystallites, okay, so when you flip the foot over, this is before you even get to the ankle and to the calves. These are the parts where you can find the crystallites. So when you find the crystallites, it's just jammed up of a lot of crystals in one area that creates a lot of pain and effect, medical effect really, on your whole body. Okay, and so these here represent the veins that you see on here, where you'll see on your feet, represents the crystals. And so these are sort of similar to knots, to bloods that are clogged up. And so that's the other part we have to massage and to deal with on the front. But it's also part of the back, from the bottom of the back to the top. And so this is where the effects happen, because the crystallites actually, it's like sponge. and it sort of goes from being soft to hard, and then it blocks. So there's what you call blockage. And not just that, in the physical sense, your blood clogs up. Okay, and so when it clogs up in the feet, that means the communication of the cycle, the flow of your blood from the brain isn't communicating with the feet. Okay, so there's the output there. And so there's all the parts that actually you can understand the person before you even touch the person, where they are. And so with the feet, wherever they're like this and that and see like that, then you know they're definitely unbalanced, and you can tell which side it is. And so when we look on the feet, there's the male side and the female side. And so a lot of people call them one side's defined feminine, the other side's defined masculine. And so they're also different levels, because the individual can actually hold both sides as masculine and feminine. Okay, and so we call that te Kawa-Haumie and te Kawa-Tane, with its own protocols that follow suit. And so so now we go to the ankle. The ankle is like the carriage. It's like a cart that the horses carry or the donkeys carry, and that carries a lot of weight, because that's your traffic, that's your traveling mobile. And so that holds a lot of tension, because of what's happening above. And so when it happens up here in the mind, the stress, the depression, and the pressures and the migraines, the calves are actually the cup to catch the overflow. Okay, and so we allow to release. And so how we release with the muscle, we manipulate the muscle and we throw it up. We do things up towards the kneecap. Okay, so these kneecaps are in the hips, shoulders. These here are all pockets of release, so they're all outlets. And so we try not to send it straight up to the, we send it straight from the knees out. And so in that area, from the knees down, we are covering, that's the grounding area. And so that's the source or the solar area of Mother Earth. And so she governs that area. And so we don't come up here to gain the energies to help we remain with Mother Earth and use her energies to do the release, as these are the trunks of the tree, if you want to look in that terminology. Okay, so yeah, all right, so that's all about that area of the gifts that sits in our flesh and in our bone. And now when I'm going to the bone, so you go to the calf and there's that one long bone. Okay, that's called for us as the pillars of the anatomy, and the strongest part of the whole body. And so when I say the pillars, they sit with the numbers, the numeral number 2. Infinite, definite, accurate. There's no one larger than the other. And so they are the mirror of each other. And so they hold basically your house, your hut of your life. When they are removed, then other objects or other bone or flesh has to take its place. But the rightful part there, they become the pillars. All right. Okay, now back to the feet. Their digits is the 10. So they sit on the 10, really the whole physique. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. And so as we get along, I will be sharing those numerals and what they mean, as well as the massaging techniques that actually happens. The last part to it is talking about the colors. Okay, so the root chakra. So Reikis believe in the root chakra staying in our sacred, staying really in our private parts. Okay, but for us, it actually drops lower, because when you talk about the roots, it has to come down to Earth Mother. simply because of the word roots. And so with us, we call it te hono or tu hono, the combining, the clamping with Papa Tuanuku, with Mother Earth. Okay, so, and that colour is brown. So that colour is brown, and moving up to the knees is tan. And so those are the earthly colours. Those are the earthly colours that we talk about. Okay, so that's just one quick introduction. Well, really, it's one session really for this anatomy gifts as we get along, because as we get along, these are all going to get extended. And what the hope was to have the audience to communicate with and share was all about the session. But this is the end of one session, one of two. So I'm going to get another video out for those that missed, and elaborate a bit more and probably show you some techniques and some ways how to engage for interest and those that wish to follow their path. So just to finish off, all the information that I have and received from my upbringing and the experiences as a rongo practitioner, and also what is being given to me from upstairs. So it's not about my spiritual team, it's about the universal keepers of all that knowledge. And so to finish this off, take what you want, leave what you don't want. Kia ora.